All right, so we I was listening to the Ballad Love and Hate, and she was an English teacher at the time, and I was like, this is gonna be like you've got to hear this song, and I would play it, and she'd like, oh, not again, not again, and we every year we get on our sailboat, and we would take a week, and we go up and down the bay, and the way sailboats work, if the wind's blowing from the north, you go south, or vice versa,
Right.
and we headed out at the beginning of the week, and it was blowing us from it was coming from the north, and we were heading south. So she goes, that band you like, the Avett brothers, are playing down in Portsmouth. Do you want to go? And my son was you know with us, and we were like, yeah, because he had been listening to them before we had.
Oh, okay.
And so she got us tickets. Of course, this is 2013. It wasn't any trouble getting tickets. And
You're right.
the little marina is right next to the venue. So you stay on the boat and literally get off the dock, and you go around the corner, and it's right there.
That's
So
great.
uh, we, uh, we walked in, and it's festival seating again, and there wasn't festival seating since the Who in Cincinnati, right? When I was a kid, we used to go when I was young. We'd go see all these shows, and you'd get there early, and you'd run up to the front and get squished by the mob and all.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
they kind of quit that when people were dying. So
Oh, yeah.
I hadn't been to a show in a long time, and I mean, it blew us away. And I mean, I really fell in love with him, but Jana was probably like three steps beyond me, and
Wow.
she just fell into it whole hog. So, and
Seeing them
she's
live is it's something special though, and that is like I almost want to say like a religious experience. I mean,
it
you don't want
is
to push it
no,
too far, but they are amazing live.
and the whole thing was. Uh, it was just so interesting because it'd be the full band, and then it'd be one of them would do a solo, and then they'd bring Bob on, or there'd be the trio, and
Right.
the add Joe back in. It was just always something going on. It's like an old time variety show. So there was
Sure.
always something interesting going on. And of course, back then they were screaming their hearts out and jumping off the stage, and running out, and I mean, it was just like an old time punk show, which was a lot of our early music. We loved
Sure.
all that stuff.
Sure. Their music is they're all over the map. So it's like you kind of don't know what you're watching or what you're looking at, but it's all good. And you're like, wow, this is crazy. This is great. It's so
Well,
different.
so, from then it was like buy every album,
Oh yeah.
join all the clubs, book as many shows as we could book, and
So
and
that was show number one. How many have you guys been to now after all these started in 2013? Do you have a list
yeah,
somewhere?
I'm like at 44, and she's well above 50 now.
Wow.
She uh, like she'll just she gets FOMO really bad. So somebody says, "Hey, I got an extra ticket," or we should go to this show. She'll jump off in the middle of the
Sure.
week, and I don't know as I'm not always as flexible as that work wise, but
What are you guys thinking with how they're not announcing shows right now? I've been kind of getting people's opinion on this the last few weeks. Like here we are and it's the end of November and there's nothing announced for next year yet. What's your opinion? What's your thoughts on that?
I was on the database last night before we talked, and was looking ahead like that too. This past year, it was a lot of shows like with the stuff, or they
Sure.
were opening for somebody, and I don't want to. I'm not going to, sound ungrateful. I don't want to sound ungrateful, but
Of course,
we've
right.
seen them enough that we really like multi-run nights because we get different stuff, and we're I won't necessarily drive 4 states to see a opening set or a short set at a festival.
Right,
Uh,
because you get like half the amount of songs pretty much at those.
yeah. So I mean, I would see them 4 to 8 to 10 times a year, if they were close enough to do that, and there was good shows going on.
Sure.
and at this point, it's it's way more about seeing like I feel like they're friends, even though I've only met a couple of them, and it's like you're back at I don't know. I mean, it's just like going home, going to a show, and then all the people that we've met is
Of
that's
course.
so big, right?
It's all family. Like you feel like you know the Avetts just because their family is so amazing. And I'm sure you've met Jim and Susie over the years.
Many times, yes, yes.
They're just great people, and they bring you in like it just feels like it's all a big family gathering.
Yeah.
And the fans are amazing, and it is all family. It's the only way to describe it.
And the two of them are so funny. Like they'll be like, well, the boys did this or the boys did that, and
Yeah.
and then we had one of the granddaughters over, and it's just like, yeah, mom, yeah.
It's they just right. They're so proud of them too. I
Yes.
know I've had Jim on the show a couple of times, and I've had a chance to talk to both of them in person, like off the air, just talking to them at shows or whatever. And they are so incredibly proud of all three of their kids, as they should be, because they've done amazing things. But you can just see it in both of their eyes, and it's really a cool thing.
Well, it's just the whole package, right? The everything feels just so genuine
It
and
is,
heartfelt and appreciative
and it
uh,
is, and that's the
and
thing. It
joyful.
is, yeah.
And yes,
It's not
yes,
an act. That's just them.
yes, yes. I like a lot of times, people talk about, you don't want to meet your heroes, right? And
Exactly.
and uh, I feel like they would be everything that you think they are.
I've heard that from everyone that's met him. And when I had Colleen Hoover on the show a few weeks back,
Yeah.
she's like, I said, have you ever met them? Because I mean, she wrote a whole book dedicated to them and all this stuff. And she's like, no, I don't want to meet them because I don't want them to not live up to what I think they are. And then she said, like 2 seconds later, even though I know it would be great and they would be great, I don't want that to happen. Where what if I catch them in a bad mood and blah blah blah? I'm like, I don't think that would happen. I really don't think that would happen with them. But
Well, I've had the chance a couple of times now to meet Mike because
yeah,
he's always out and about at different stuff, ahead of the shows, and you can talk to him about any kind of music. Like he's just so he's a musician's musician,
sure.
and uh, anything about gear or uh, playing live, all those kind of things. He's very, very approachable in that way. And
Has he given you advice and stuff?
I, I didn't ask about it like from that standpoint, but
Yeah.
you know, uh, we just geeked out about drum pedals and snare heads and things like that. You know,
Oh, that's
um,
fun too, though.
I can say that a couple years after the first Portsmouth show, we were at another one, and we had gone by boat again, and we'd come back from breakfast, and there were some people in line already early, not too many, a couple of folks in a tent, and uh,
So
and
Liz
I see them
Gregory was
talking
there
to this
already.
tall. What'd you say?
I said, was Liz Gregory one of those? Because she's always up in the front.
I think Liz might have been there, but
Of course she was.
in particular, I saw Nikki. I don't, Nikki, yeah, and
Oh, sure.
she was talking to this tall guy with dark black hair, and I go, I think that's Seth, and I walk over and I started talking as well, and had a nice long conversation. He was just out for a run and had
Really?
got caught by the fans, and
Oops.
but later on, I gotta say, I feel really guilty. I gotta apologize to Nikki because she was like having this great conversation with him, and I walked up and just totally, took it over. So
Well,
this is a public apology to Nikki.
how often do you run into Seth? I mean, come on, you got to talk.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
That's the cool thing I've seen with him too is like if he's out in public, I mean, a lot of people, respect their privacy and stuff like that. But if you start talking to him, he's going to talk to you. He's not
Yeah.
just going to blow you off. He'll take pictures and stuff like that. But I think people get it and will leave them alone when they're in public with their kids and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
they're just nice people. What are you going to do? Can you play your banjo for us?
Yeah. uh,
We talked, Ryan Boyles and I were talking, and he broke his banjo out and said that you've taught him a lot and how to play some chords. And he played it on. Now you said in our first part of this, because we've had a couple power outages in
Yeah,
between. This is like a 2-day interview putting it together here. You said he's better than he says he is at playing the banjo.
that's
He
he
says he could
is.
barely strum a chord. He couldn't even do it on the show. I don't know. He was just playing it cool, I guess, saying he couldn't play it.
I think he got all the well, anyway, this I'll do this for him.
Yeah.
I have climbed highest mountains. I have run through the fields only to be with you. Only to be with you. I have run, I have crawled, I have scaled these city walls, these city walls, only to be with you. And still have found.
All right. Hey, a little U2 for Ryan Boyles. I think
Yeah.
you just made him melt a little bit with that, I think. That was really cool. Uh, so how is the banjo? I've never really strummed a banjo before. I played guitar a little bit. It's got to
Uh-huh.
be extremely similar, right? Note-wise, it's just less strings, right?
So the thing that's neat about it is it's always tuned to open G.
Okay.
Now, I mean, I think there are different tunings that some of the guys do for different songs,
Okay.
but standard banjo tuning, it's open G. So, and then this the short string, because there's a
Yeah, because
string.
you got
See
four
that?
long strings, and then the fifth string is a little
It's
short one here.
shorter, so it's up on the fifth fret,
Why do they
which
do
makes
that?
it
Why is it on the fifth fret? Do you know why that is?
so that when you if you're doing a roll, you've always got this drone that's going up here.
Oh, okay.
Now, I am not a I'm not a bluegrass guy. I picked up banjo after playing guitar, so I
Okay.
play it way more like a guitar. But the thing that's neat is like for major chords, you're just barring
Just bar chords.
that.
Yeah.
It's just it's you're holding your finger across the strings, and then if you want to make it a minor, you're dropping one string.
Okay.
So like. Nobody knows it, but I am so sad. Nobody knows it, but I am so sad. That is the saddest of all, my girl. That is the saddest of all. We're gonna run out of songs I know, but that's.
So obviously you played guitar first and then just picked up the banjo and you could basically just start playing it. That's pretty cool.
Oh, I mean, it was, I actually, what happened was, I was a bass player, and I think I started saying that and played in like original rock band, kind of alternative music in college, uh, and that was there in Greenville, kind of pre Avetts,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. They were
we
doing their own thing when they were teenagers at that point.
yeah. They would have been around. I didn't know anything about it, but
Right, sure.
when we graduated, we moved to Raleigh, and we tried to do it for a while there in bands, and gosh, playing original music with the amount of places to play, like there were like maybe 3 clubs locally, 4 clubs that you could play, and so you're playing a couple times a month, so you didn't play too much in one place,
Mhm.
and a lot of those were opening gigs, so it was this whole thing where you load in your stuff at 8 o'clock somewhere, and then you don't go on till 10 and you play till 11, and then you got to wait for the end band to finish. So you're getting out of there at 2 or 3, and
So you
you know
just
the whole
left all your
band
stuff
gets
on. Oh,
$50,
right. Oh
and then
man.
and if you're driving anywhere at all, all the money's going to gas and food, and it just like didn't make sense.
Yeah.
So we got out of that, and then Jan, I got the chance to move to Virginia with her job, so we came up here, and that gave me the chance to start working on boats, and she and then gosh, I it's hard to accompany yourself on bass.
Yeah.
So I started playing guitar, and
Right.
so you can play and sing, or I can play and sing on a guitar, where bass is a lot harder because I mean, you're like soloing the whole time. So my
Sure. Sure.
brain can't always hold on to that. So I'm certainly not Geddy Lee, you know.
Well, not many people are.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then I'll play out at a brewery, or a gig here and there. But then I started playing drums, and so there's a little blues band that I'm in, and that's actually I'm gonna miss New Year's this year because we've got a gig on New
Oh,
Year's Eve.
really? Nice.
Yeah,
Well, that's good though. That'll be fun. It's
it
too
will
bad
be
you're
fun.
missing New Year's when there's not a lot of Avid shows around.
I
On the
know, right? I'm limiting myself with
Yeah,
that.
yeah, that's tough, but that's
And the New Year's show is always it's always pretty fun. Um, the only thing is sometimes you get in there and there's just so many people drinking,
yeah,
and there's a lot of people that are just there for the party. So, you
that's
know, it's loud during the slow songs a lot of times, and
how hard is that when you're playing to concentrate if the crowd is loud? Because I've been at bars where there's do you know Dan Zlotnick, right?
oh yeah,
Well, I
yeah,
had him here in Rome, New York, where I live, and he played at a local bar. It was like a big festival that was going on, and the people were not there for the music. The first time he played, I felt terrible. It was so loud, but he did it. I mean, he's a pro. He got through it. But is that hard with people talking to be able to concentrate, or do you lose where you are in the song? Never. I would. I
um,
couldn't do that. No way.
you know, I would rather have it loud and with a lot of people there
Really?
than a pin drop.
Really?
What sucks is when you get to the end of the song and it's like crickets, right?
Oh,
And
yeah.
then it's like, I mean, I just go to the next song. And if you play a lot, you book a lot of gigs, you're gonna have shows that are like that. It's just an
Oh,
inevitability.
just the crowd's not with you or whatever. That's tough.
Yeah, I mean, you're always trying to get into new venues and try new places, and some of them hadn't seen you before. Some of them, it might be a dead night or whatever. But it just, it's one of those things that when it is really good, it's just
Yeah,
really,
yeah,
really good. It's
yeah.
so cool.
I've seen that at different shows where the crowd isn't the best, but then some nights where the crowd is just electric and the band or solo artist, whoever it is, just feeds off of that.
Oh,
And
for sure.
it's gotta just make you feel so good
Yeah,
when it's going right. Of course it does. That's what
yeah,
you
and
do.
from a music standpoint, I think I said the other day that I started playing bass in like junior high. So like it was always this dream of getting out in front of people. So the times when you get out there, it's like, oh, I've been working all this time for it. And at this point it's, like more than 40 years of it. So
No.
it's a lot of, practicing in the bedroom and get out and show it off sometimes.
You just do covers or have you written your own stuff too?
I do some, but mostly covers for what I'm doing now. There's in the type of places I play, people just want to hear stuff they know.
Sure,
So,
sure. So do you have some like songs that you've written that you I'm just wondering if you'd play one, that's all.
um,
Have anything prepared that you don't have to. I don't, I don't want to make you do that.
let's see. Let me think about that.
Break out your bass and play play a song.
um, yeah, I could do one. Let's see.
I just like to hear original stuff. If you've got something that you're willing to play, that would be awesome.
Yeah, I'm trying to like. because I don't do them so often, I got to think about it. Let's see.
All right, what's this one called?
Last night, this isn't going like I thought. How you doing with editing? Oh, there it is. All right, you're good. Last night, what the hell happened last night? I remember drinking at the bar. I remember drinking from the jar. I remember dancing with everything in sight. Problem is, I'm never gonna drink again. Last night, what the hell happened last night? I remember going to the party. I remember cocaine the party. I remember stripping to my tidy whitey problem more. I'm never gonna drink no more.
I love it.
Well, you're kind.
Love it. I totally put you on the spot with that, so I appreciate that. And I'm not editing any of that. It's beautiful. I love it. That's great stuff. Thank you for playing that. Obviously, that was a memorable experience you had there at the bar. Made you write that song. So one thing that Ryan and Boyles and I talked about was songs that we wanted the Avetts to play for us, like a chase song. And the one he said that you had mentioned to him was Yard Sale. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna play a live version. Even though we played it last week, I'm gonna play a different version of it this week on the show.
Okay.
But tell me about Yard Sale and why you want why you want to hear that song.
I
I love that
just,
song now, by the way. So many people don't. I don't get it.
some of it is that because somebody will say, "What do you want to hear?" and I go, "Yard sale," and they all go, "Oh, I hate that." I skip it every time, and I just, there's a line about the old guitar that's got the broken bridge or whatever,
Yep.
and he wonders if anybody ever sang it to their, used it to sing to their lover, and I've owned those kind of guitars before, super unloved at a pawn shop with broken parts and neck snapped and stuff. And I don't know, it's just really evocative to me. So
And the lyrics they write are amazing, and that song makes me. I mean, you feel like you're standing at a yard sale, looking at all the stuff that he's singing about. I don't know, just the imagery that comes.
it's that whole idea of,
Yeah,
mining their souls or whatever.
exactly, it's exactly
Yeah.
it. All
Um,
right, so we're running short on time, so I
okay.
got to ask you about the music that. Well, we just talked about one of the songs that'll appear on the episode, but you picked a bunch of music for the show. Do you want to talk about which songs you picked and why you picked them? I know why you picked Yard Sale because it was your chase song. So talk about some other ones that you picked. Do you have your list in front of you?
Well, left on Laura, left on Lisa.
Yeah,
I love the line about, I gave to you my ugly brown coat and you made it pretty when you put it on. And we're going to find the beer bottle we left wedged in the limbs of the tree that we sat in, wedged in the magnolia tree.
oh my God,
That's just really good stuff.
they're the
Um,
best. They're the best at writing
and that
songs.
song's cool too. Like, I love it when a artist writes a song that doesn't have a bridge, it doesn't have a chorus. It's, they can make a whole song with just the verses, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
it's so different.
when ballads like that and
Yeah,
in the curve is like that, and
yep,
um, they're they're uh, they're just great stories.
they are.
Um, who
So
else did I have?
let's see. You got LOL, you got Yard Sale, the other Avid song.
Paranoia. Yeah,
Oh, Paranoia. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. I just never get tired of it. I just, I just, I just, I love the progression in it, and it's just, and basically, you kind of have to like anything off of emotionalism. I'm happy with. And in fact, we went to we saw them in Myrtle Beach when they played at the House of Blues down there, and I can remember waiting in line. You know, we got there early to get in line, and I remember saying to whoever we were with at the time, "Gosh, I'd just be happy if they just came out here and played nothing but emotionalism." And somebody must have been listening, like from behind the wall or whatever, because they played the album front to back, and
Did they really? Wow.
yeah, it
Have,
was just
have they
it
have
was
they
the
done
best
that?
concert.
Have they done that with a different album before? I think I've
Uh,
heard that before, that they played that front to back.
they had played it a couple times. I know they've done it at Red Rocks before, and
Really? Wow.
that night they played True Sadness too. So they that was what the show was those two albums.
Wow, that's so cool and different. That
Yeah,
you caught that you were there for that. That's pretty neat. That's a awesome memory. All right, so that's the Avid songs you picked, and then you got three other ones. Uh,
well, had to have some Led Zeppelin in there. I love
Great song.
three instrument bands, and they're the best of them. Just the recordings and the how rocking they are, and I like that song has it's got a funky time signature, which is anytime a band makes a good pop song like that with a funky time signature, I'm into it.
All right, and that's The Ocean from Led Zeppelin
Yes.
you got. And then we got
Uh, I
the
got to shout out to David Childers, and
yeah,
I love Prettiest Thing. I
great
can
song.
listen to that over and over and over again, and he's such a nice guy, and
Is
just such a
he's just a
he,
down to earth
I want
nice
to be
guy.
him when I grow up.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
He's such a cool guy. I love that I've like formed a friendship with him, but it seems like anyone that has talked to him just becomes friends with him because he's just he's just that nice of a guy. But like I've shared like my daughter's artwork. My daughter's in college. She's a psychology slash art major, and she's a painter. She loves painting, and I've showed him some of her work, and he's like, "Wow, she's got the gift. I hope she sticks with that." And I'm like, I told her that. She's like, "What? He said that?"
That
So
wonderful. Yeah.
yeah,
What
it's so
encouragement.
yeah, it's such a he's awesome. I love him. So Prettiest Thing, great song, obviously. Can't wait to play that one. And you've got the replacements on there too.
Yeah. So, man, I really fell in love with them in college and got a chance to see them. And they were the best club rock band I ever saw. I mean, they were just it was another one of those things where lots going on stage, and the songs were loose and falling apart sometimes, but they kept them going. And Bastards of Young in particular, I did college DJing, and on my last day on the air, I played that for 2 hours.
Oh,
So
nice.
one right after the other until the station manager called and said, "That's enough. That's enough."
It was your
So
last day, so who cares, right?
yeah, exactly. What were they going to do to me? Yeah. So
That's great.
yeah,
So
we are
great,
the sons of no one. I
awesome,
love that
awesome.
song.
Great music. This was a chore having you on here with all the issues we had with the power outages. I got to explain it a little bit because we really didn't talk about it on the show. We started recording last night. All of a sudden we were like 10 minutes in and you were gone. And I'm like, uh-oh, I think I lost. I thought it was my computer because I've been having computer issues.
Right.
Then your wife texts me. She's like, we had our power went out. I'm like, oh man, okay, well, I guess we can do it again tomorrow night. So I get home from work today and the power's out in my house and the power never goes out here. And I'm like, you guys aren't going to believe this, but the power's out in my house now. I don't know if we're going to be able to do this tonight. But then it came back on and we got to finish this. And I appreciate your time. I hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving tomorrow. You got any big plans for the big day?
We are just gonna chill and
Awesome.
eat a lot. Yeah, we're gonna do some cooking and maybe have a little mimosa. Maybe start
Nice.
off
To
the
go out
day.
on the boat a little bit, or
I think the weather's supposed to perk up. Yeah, I think we may go for a little maybe sunset sail or something.
very nice. Yeah, we don't
Yeah,
get to do that up here this time of year in New York. So
the water gets hard, doesn't
yeah,
it?
a little hard this time of year. It's not quite there yet, but it's cold enough. It's been turning wintry and blah. We don't need to talk about that. Anyway, Max, thank you so much for coming on. That was a lot of fun.
It
And
was my pleasure.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'll have you back on sometime. Get a couple more of those originals warmed up, and we'll have you play some more of those for us.
Get it in the queue so it comes to me quicker next time.
Yeah, no, that was great. I really appreciate it. Thanks a lot, and we'll talk to you down the road. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Max. Take care.